Again, and welcome back to Talk Football Live. How you guys been doing? Today people might be wondering we still have our ABC crew back, but it is Cincy standing in for Charles. Charles is still out on vacation. Welcome back, Cincy. Ayo, good to see you again. I'm my humble self,
Yeah, man.
building back here at Talk Football Live. Before we kick this off, a reminder to our viewers, our fans, folks that are yet to subscribe. Is liking these recordings and all that, and continue to subscribe and click the like button. Feel free to share comments for us on how we can make this better. Thank you for joining us again. Welcome back, guys. How you guys doing? You ready for the weekend after international break? Are you guys ready?
Finally, yeah. The break was good, actually. It was a quiet weekend last weekend, but I'm glad to have football back every weekend now. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's
likewise,
go.
likewise.
Lindsay, what
Yeah.
about you? You like the weekend? I don't like it, and I'll tell you the reason why I don't like the international break.
Well, I kind of like it because of United and giving me headache. So just to get that break was good.
You
But
need
now
a
we're back
reset.
at it again.
Yeah. I honestly, I think we need to have a segment on this international break. It's not helping most clubs. Arsenal is down with a lot of injuries. This is not good. It's not good for football. I just think too many matches for these guys. Um, I
Yeah,
don't know what's going to happen to our title, contest. We have our captain is out. A lot of other clubs are suffering the same thing. So I really don't understand the significance of this Nations League. The Euro just finished. That's a lot of games. If it's qualifiers, I understand it, but all these are competitions that I just think, FIFA, UEFA, all these guys need to look into this thing and address this matter. But that's a separate conversation. Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be going through three segments. The first segment we're going to touch briefly on the game that is about to kick off. That is the Man U Southampton game. It's about to start. I did probably get started in like 10 minutes. We have the lineups. I don't know
hmm
if I want to bring the lineup up. We're just going to briefly talk about the lineup. The Man U guy is here, Cincy. He's smiling, but I'm not really sure if he's happy deep inside of himself. So we're going to go through that. The second segment, we're going to probably just take the quick predictions of the remaining games for this weekend. And the final segment that we're going to wrap this up with, it's going to be the Tottenham Arsenal game tomorrow. That is the North London derby. We all know about this team. We don't know how it's going to turn out, but I think we should talk about it. So let's kick this off. Southampton, Man United. This is the lineup since it kick us off. What's happening here?
Southampton
Yes.
United. Yeah, this is the first early morning kickoff for us, and this one should be pretty interesting, especially with United coming off with that horrific loss against Liverpool. So I'm not surprised by the current lineup, seeing Casemiro back on the bench and bringing the new boy, the lead, to partner Martinez at the defense. So we'll see how that goes. But it's unfortunate for a player like Harry Maguire because I think he has been phenomenal this season. As a matter of fact, I think it's the reason why we still have 1 point, against Fulham. So I don't know what to say or where he goes from here. But hopefully we'll find his way back in the team, or if he needs to get out of the team and find him a better place to be. But again, this is going to be an interesting game. And another thing I'll point out is Rashford. I don't know why Rashford is still starting. But again, we'll see what happens. Garnacho is on the bench. I would prefer if Garnacho was the player that starts in place of Rashford. But this is a very, very important game for Ten Hag. And he knows that if he loses this game, he's definitely going to start losing those fans. And the chance of Ten Hag out or exit hashtags are going to start flying, as soon as the end of as soon as today. And the owners, I trust the owners, they will be watching. If we cannot be the likes of Southampton, even if you've never played, even if you don't even follow Premiership, and you look at this Southampton team, like you would know just by default that who are all these guys? Like you'll be like, what? So this is to me, this team looks like a championship team. I mean, no disrespect to them, and I expect United to win convincingly. I'm not saying they should go there and go win, 1-0 and maybe 1-1. This has to be like a win that needs to show that okay, we are back into it. So this is a test for United, and the lineup itself speaks that what. Let's see what we have to do today and see where we go with it. So it should be interesting.
Yeah. Great analysis, Cincy. Ayo, Why? What do you think Ten Hag is trying to do here? Maguire is on the bench. Casemiro is on the bench. Ugarte, which most people thought it was signed to come in and start taking Casemiro's role, playing with Meno to kind of help that midfield. Is also on the bench. Now we have Ericsson pairing with Meno in the midfield. Can you walk me through what Ten Hag? I know you're not Ten Hag, but can you try to get into the mind of Ten Hag and just help me out here understand what Ten Hag is trying to do?
So I wouldn't say I'm too surprised by the fact that Maguire drops to the bench. I think it's clear. I think Cincy himself talked about it a week or so ago when he talked about Ten Hag wanting to go back to his template. I think now that he's been backed, he sort of is going back to the players that he knows and he trusts, right? We know him and Delete to work together at Ajax, right? And he's brought in Delete and Mazraoui. And I think it's just a thing of him trusting the leads. Same thing with Martinez. Those are defenders that he's worked with. He's worked with all three of them, and I think it's a matter of him bringing players that he knows that they know how he wants to play. I would say I'm a bit surprised by the fact that Ericsson starts. Not so much that Casemiro drops to the bench because we saw he had a holler in that game, right? So it's understandable maybe to take him out of the line of fire for a bit, give him some time to work on himself before putting him back in. Um, but again, if we go back to how we know that Ten Hag wants to play, he wants to play quick on the counter, quick transitions, and Ericsson is a specialist at those long ball situations. So it's probably a case where he's bringing in Ericsson and Menu because they can be trusted on the ball. They are comfortable on the ball. They're maybe not going to give the ball away as easily as we saw Casemiro harried and losing the ball, in very dangerous areas in that last game. So that's probably the idea. I would have expected Ugarte to be starting, but maybe he's not quite ready to start, and that would make sense. I would expect he plays some part in this game, but yes, Southampton look like a championship team, but I've watched them this season and they're a good footballing side. The problem is you never just know which Manchester United is going to turn up, right? So championship looking team, but all the same, it's a team that can play football. And they have some players, who've been here before. You look at Bednarek, you look at Jack Stevens, Kyle Walker
Yeah.
Peters, and Leslie Ugochukwu, who was at Chelsea, wasn't bad the few times and I've seen him come on. Ben Burton
Coming
and
out.
Cameron Diaz up front
Uh,
know what they're doing. They're internationals, right? So these are players who they've been around the block. They've played in the Premiership. So there are some new players in there. Ramsdale, on his day will, make amazing saves. So mind you, watch out.
awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Ayo. Before we wrap this segment up, Cincy, do you think he's trying to play Rashford into form? Is that what he's trying to do here?
I want to believe so, but man, you cannot. What is dead may never, die, man. Like they always say. Unfortunately, Rashford is trying to get himself back to form, but man, this is too many tries that is had, and he needs to get it together as soon as possible. Again, I think at some point, Ten Hag is going to have to be very honest with himself and say, you know what, I think I've given you enough chance and it's time for him to start playing Ganacho because Ganacho, I'm not gonna lie, looks like something that I would probably want to work on more and polish and get to potential as soon as possible. Because the more you put him behind, the more you also kind of like, neglect the boy's talent. So, somebody needs to nurture that talent as well. So it's very, very important that him as a coach, number one, two, does not let that kind of thing slip. Rashford has already had his moments, So this is something he needs to understand. I understand he's trying to give him time to get to form, but if it's not happening, it's not happening. So again, in games like this, like I said, we expect Rashford to use games like this as breakfast to get back to form. So plays
That's what
this
I'm.
game, if he plays this game and it does not show up, then that's bad. That's just bad, man. I think it's time for him to start
Did you
giving Ghana.
guys see the video of Rashford in the gym working on boxing?
Yeah, I saw that. Yes, they said it's for content. That he needs to do it in real life. Yeah.
All right. Wait. In a minute, Rashford is going to tell us whether he can do this in real life. Ayo,
Yeah,
prediction.
as you can see, 8 seconds counting down. Prediction. I would like to think this is a game Man U wins. I would like to say it's a 3-1 win in favor of Man U, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes another way.
Cincy, prediction.
Man, with United, you can never tell, man. And I want to say, United wins this one 3-1. Yeah, I want to
3-1.
say 3-1, but I almost like I said, I'm surprised if it goes 1-1 or if they even lose. So with them, it's three predictions, man. So for those of you who like to bet, I beg you, stay away from United.
Not this one.
Well, to the betters, today might just be your day. So try to put more money on it. Today might just be your day. All right. Let's take quick predictions for the remaining games. If you just want to scroll through.
Right. Yeah.
Bournemouth, Ipswich,
Brighton Ipswich.
Brighton.
Uh,
Sorry.
yeah, I expect Brighton to win. Ipswich have a decent team, but to be honest, I don't think they're quite at the level of the Premiership. And Brighton are one of the better sides around. They're a top half team. I expect a Brighton win. Brighton is at home. It's at the MX Stadium. I think it
Yeah.
should be an easy game for them.
Crystal Palace, Leicester, Cincy.
Crystal Palace, Leicester. Wow, that's a close one. Crystal Palace, Leicester. I would say Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Jimmy Vardy, sorry. The betting that you will lose this one. Ayo, Fulham, West
I think this might be a good game, a good draw.
Ham.
I would expect maybe a 2-2 draw.
Yeah, to draw. Okay.
Yeah, I
Since
think Lopetegui is going to take some time for Lopetegui to figure out, to bed in the new signings. They've made a lot of new signings. Fulham as well have tried to change things around a little bit. They've brought in Smith Rowe and Rhys Nelson. Adama Traore is starting on the right, but overall, I mean, they let go of Palenia, so there's still a little bit of rebuilding going on at Fulham as well. So I'm expecting a really good game. Teams trying to fill each other out, but there'll be goals. 2-2, probably.
all right. Liverpool, Nottingham Forest, Cincy.
Liverpool, Nottingham Forest. I want to go Liverpool on this one 2-0. And the reason why I'm saying 2-0 is because I'm giving much respect to Nottingham Forest's coach, Espirito Santo. He's a very good coach. I respect him a lot. So I don't think Liverpool is just going to go there and whack them just because they are playing at their house. But I expect it to be a decent game. And at the worst, probably 3-0 top most. I don't see Liverpool winning more than that.
Okay.
Okay.
That would be interesting. Ayo, Man City, Brentford. The last team that beats Man City, by the way, that's Brentford. Man City, Brentford.
Yeah, so
So,
for those who are not aware, City have not lost at home at the Etihad in 2 years. And the last team to have done that apparently was Brentford. I heard Pep Guardiola saying, he respects Thomas Frank. It's always a difficult game. They're very good in the transitions and the build
mind
up,
games.
very compact, very hard to break down. And I'm thinking, well, you have a striker who just scored back to back hat tricks, and you didn't even have Rodri in that game. You didn't have Foden. I don't see any chance for Brentford in this game, especially more so because Rodri is now back fit.
Yeah.
And Foden is available, and Kyle Walker is not available. Like they've had 2 weeks now to work with those teams. Like he said when the transfer window closed, he said now the season starts. And it's obvious because if you look at the first three games, Rico Lewis, who didn't play a lot towards the end of last season, you started seeing guys like Rico Lewis starting games. They're bringing in the younger guys, and it's like the full team is not quite there, but they've still won 3 games. And now the season starts, and no
Who do you want?
disrespect to Brentford, I don't see any chance of Brentford winning this game.
Okay, we'll
Hmm.
listen. Aston Villa, Everton, Cincy.
Aston Villa, Everton. I think Aston Villa needs this one. Aston Villa needs to get the season to gear. They need to start winning games. I think this is a very good team, especially with Watkins being smart about not playing international duties this last weekend. So it's going to be coming back fully fit. So I expect Aston Villa to definitely win this one. Easy win for them at home, 2-0 against Everton.
Yeah,
I
Everton
want to
are
ask you
poor.
a question.
Everton are poor.
I want to
Yeah.
ask you a quick. Yeah, so the last game Everton played, they were leading 2-0, lost the game within 7 minutes, thereabout,
Oh
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ayo, this be the firing squad for Shandai today. Will he be the first manager to go this weekend?
I don't think they will do it this early because we know Everton doesn't have lot of money. It takes, a decent amount of money to fire a manager. There's probably a decent release clause in there for Shandaish. You have to go recruit another manager. So I think they will give him time. And I think we saw that at times last season as well, where it looked like, oh, Shandaish should leave, but then, he was able to get some points over a couple of games and stay in the job. So I don't think they will do it quite yet. Will they win this game? No. Will they concede and lose? Probably bad day again. Yes. I was really disappointed. Like they had that game ready to go and something up there didn't click for the team. They gave up, what was it, 3 goals in like 10 minutes or something towards the end of the game. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just worried because those previous results and terrible results, as they were, those were against mid and bottom teams. They are
Yeah.
yet to play top teams. And if
Yeah.
their results are looking that way already, I don't know. I don't know. I can't really tell you he has a lot of chances to see the season through. I don't know. But we'll find out. We'll see. We'll
They'll
see.
probably give him till November. I think
Okay.
they'll give him to November because it's not like they've spent 200 million and then
Exactly.
they're putting
But,
on this
but,
kind of
but
pressure.
but aren't you surprised about Newcastle? Newcastle, I actually didn't know Newcastle would like be in this. Like they have not lost a game.
Mhm.
Oh,
And
Newcastle is
then
a very good team.
no, I know, but they didn't buy any player. They couldn't buy any player. They tried to go after two players. They couldn't get the deal sealed. And the
Yeah.
only thing that looked like a new signing was Sandro Tonali that came back
Yeah.
after suspension. That looked like people thought Newcastle would like be way down
Mm-hmm.
on the team right now. But they put it through, especially against Tottenham. Against
Yeah.
Tottenham, they won that game. So the point I'm trying to make is sometimes we talk about signings. Same thing, Liverpool. Liverpool signed just one player.
Yeah.
I mean, understood that they had
It's chemistry.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, he's worked with this team for 1.5 seasons. So if we're talking about chemistry, I don't think he has an excuse. If you're talking about signing, refreshing, maybe he lost Amadou Onana, right?
Mhm.
Which was a key player. So I can see that. But again, I I put him and sorry Cincy and Tenag as managers that might get fired very early. Do we have a
Who's
goal
that?
already?
Oh, Aston Villa.
No, no, Man United, Eric Tenag. Tenag and
Oh, no,
Shonda.
no, no. I know. And who's the other person? Who's the other
Now I'm
person?
saying I'm looking at those two coaches as the first two managers that might go, that
I
might
know
that might get
Tenaga who.
And that's
Sean Dyche, Everton.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Oh yeah, the most likely the two, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, most like even Ten Hag has said it already. He said he needs to start winning games for those guys to start putting faith in him. So he knows that this game, if he loses this game, he might not have a job by Monday. He might not
so
have a
here's
job
the
by
thing.
Monday.
I don't expect Ten Hag to be in this job long term. I don't think we're going to see Ten Hag in here for
Yeah,
2 years, 3 years. I think what the owners have done is they've said, okay, let's buy players. Yes, you've delivered a trophy in every season. Let's not try to shake up everything so much. So I think they're gradually trying to rebuild while keeping Ten Hag in the job,
but
and then
but
when they're
but but they
ready,
are
they will
buying,
take
but they
him
are
out and
buying
put somebody in
these
there.
players
Yeah, they're fine.
now.
Yeah.
But
That's
I
the
think
problem.
the formula United needs to start developing now is to bring in a sporting director, and
They
who is
do.
going to
They
they
did.
do
They
yes.
did.
Now the sporting director's job is going
Director
to
now.
be to focus on the players that suit United, not what the manager wants at this point. Because if they are going through this whole route of changing manager, it's better for them to just bring it, just kind of like the Real Madrid system. The president decides who comes to the team, not the manager. The guy decides who they want in the team. That's how my Real Madrid has been ran for so long.
It's different from
So that,
everything, right?
so
Like
that
Arsenal
once, so that even if you leave, sorry, let me just finish one real quick. So that even if you leave, the system is still there because the club already has this heritage of the kind of players that they want. So they just want a manager that can just come and just move the goats or the sheep around as a shepherd. That's just all. Yeah, go ahead,
I
Mr. Biodun.
I agree. We'll take it. Yeah, just one thing, because when you say that, right, then that questions Ten Hag's strategy bringing his old players, and that's what I
Yeah,
worry. He's
and
bringing
that's
his
why
old
I
players,
questioned it. I
and
questioned it in the summer. I
sure,
was like, what is
those
this?
players, another manager will put them on the bench. So
Mm-hmm.
that's another
Yeah,
source of money. That's a waste of money. And again, it's
waste
the
of
same
money. Yeah. So
he
why they
had.
need to change that strategy? That's what I'm saying. They need to change that strategy.
Yeah. Anyway, let's take the last game before we go to the Tottenham Arsenal conversation. So
Yeah.
Cincy, Bournemouth, Chelsea.
Bournemouth Chelsea. This is actually a pretty good game. I think this game would be full of goals. I think it will be a blockbuster. But I want to tip Chelsea here 3-2. With Palmer playing. And I think Chelsea's, and I was telling somebody, Chelsea is actually one low-key team that if they get it together, they can blow bang out. They can be very dangerous. They
Charles
can be very
heard you.
dangerous.
He'll be smiling now.
It's
Okay.
a small team that can make small
Okay.
noise. I'll give it to them, Sha. 3-2. 3-2 to Chelsea. Yeah.
Ayo, do you agree?
Again, I think we're still trying to figure out what Chelsea is about this season. They've looked good so far because, I mean, they've brought in so much quality, and it's inevitable that at some point that quality starts to show over the other teams. It's not just so much the fact that they have the likes of Palmer and Madueke starting, it's the fact that they can also bring off someone like Joao Felix on the pitch, who we know he hasn't been that consistent, but on his day, I mean, he's a world beater. He's one of the best players in the world at his best. So when you have that kind of quality available to you, inevitably you will see the cream rise up, so to speak. Bournemouth is not going to be an easy test either, though. So
Oh, no, I know. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I
yeah,
said
yeah,
3-2. I
you
mean,
called
I
it.
think
Yeah,
it's gonna be a lot of goals in it.
yeah, because they're the ones who beat Everton in that game. It looked like they were down 2-0, but those boys
2-0,
don't
yeah,
give up.
2-0, and they came back from nowhere. Yeah.
Semenyo is having a fantastic season now that
Season,
he's the
yes.
man up
Mendes,
top
yeah,
over Dom
he's in
Solanke.
form, yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much,
All
guys.
right, let's take the Wolves Newcastle game real quick, and then we'll settle on the
Yeah,
Arsenal
yeah,
game.
yeah. Higher. Wolves, Newcastle.
Wolves are going to struggle this season, so I expect Newcastle to win this game.
Okay. I think so too. With the signs coming from Newcastle, I think the worst they'll take a draw from this game. Wolves
Right.
is struggling as well. They didn't do a lot of business, and yeah, they might struggle. Yeah. All right, man. That wraps us the second segment. Now let's go to the game of the weekend, which is tomorrow.
Hmm.
Has been giving me a sleepless night. I would actually like Cincy to kind of anchor this segment and kind of just walk us through because I and I asked that that's not fun. So it seems if you just want to walk us through this game, I think it would be great. I'll turn it
All
over.
right, sure. Alrighty. Thank you so much. So today we're going to be covering the Tottenham and Arsenal game, the most anticipated game of the weekend. As you all know, this is going to be a derby. This is going to be a banger. It's going to be crazy. You know how this goes. We have the stars on the line, the likes of Son, Odegaard, Saka, and Sri Lanka ahead is going to be back to be starting this game. So we have two diehard fans live here on this football channel. Ayo and Biodun, please, how are you guys feeling about this game? Mr. Biodun, please tell me, what is your feeling? What do you think is going to be how
My
is it how do you
genuine,
think it's going to be going down?
genuine feelings, my honest
The new
feelings.
feelings.
Genuine.
Genuine
Genuine
feelings.
feeling, genuine feeling. Okay, that's good. How about you, Ayo? How do you feel?
I'm not feeling great. I'm not feeling very, very optimistic. However, a team like Arsenal that has come second back to back, that is trying to go for the title, should not have an excuse to not take a point from Tottenham tomorrow. You have no reason. You need to show your fans and you need to show yourself.
I think it's Mr.
Looks like we've
Biodun.
lost Bjorn there temporarily.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like we've lost Biodun.
So I think what is giving Arsenal fans, some sleepless night is the fact that we got come back with injuries over this international break, and I think that's what Bjorn was alluding to earlier when he says he doesn't like the international break
Mm-hmm.
because I mean we've all seen the picture of Odegaard, without a shoe on crutches, hopping onto the plane after that injury to his ankle,
I
and
know.
the interesting though, so I was expecting him to be out for a couple of weeks, but then in the press conference yesterday, Ateta says that what's his name? That Odegaard could be available, and that we're
Uh,
gonna have to do some tests because you never know that with 48 hours to go, you never know that Odegaard could be available, and I've actually found that rather surprising. My take would be I don't think we need him for this game. I think if we can't manage a game against Tottenham without Odegaard, when it's possible that, if thank goodness if he's, likely to come back quicker because I really feared him being out for a few weeks. If he's likely, I mean, if we can't navigate Odegaard being out, then we might be in trouble. Like City has been able to manage without De Bruyne. So I think we need to let him rest, really go get ready for the City game, be fully for the City game, which is when we will actually need him. And I think we should have enough to deal with Tottenham in this game. That's my feeling.
all
Yeah,
right.
sorry
Thank
guys,
you.
I lost my
Yeah.
connection. Can you guys hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah, you're back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're,
Thank
you're
you.
back.
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with what everything Ayo said, and that was gonna be my point as well. Like if we can take a point out of 30, the worst they draw. I mean, Ayo and I have talked about this season. The games you can win, you can lose them. The games you can win, you can lose them. The worst you get is a draw. So he has a squad. You might not know them, they might not be big stars. Looks like Iwaneri should be able to step in, even if he doesn't want to bring Iwaneri. He would then play a double pivot with Jorginho and Partey, and have Kai Havertz drop to the midfield. Put Jesus. I think Jesus is back. Jesus can play up top. You have Trossard, you have Martinelli, you have Saka, you have Sterling that we just signed, right? So you have wingers. The midfield is the problem. We can change our style, right? We don't have to hold the ball. We just have to play 1-2 time quick ball. The only challenge is that Saka and Odegaard has a very great chemistry. We won't be able to see that. And that's fine. I agree with Tyro. Let him rest for the City game. Merino is the one that is really odds right now because the City game, I was expecting I could have Merino for duels to challenge in that midfield. But I think that's the job of the manager. Maybe he's going to play Kai Havertz in the midfield for the City game and play Jesus up front. That's up to him. But that game is still far out. Even midweek, we'll probably have a game midweek, right? So managers now are thinking about not just one game, but thinking about the entire season and a lot of games that have to be played. So you don't go and lose more boys because you want to play Tottenham and force Odegaard to play and kind of
Yeah,
compound the injury. That would be my take. If Arsenal is serious about winning the season, they have no excuse than to go to Tottenham and shine.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about Zinchenko coming into midfield, Biodo?
I've always
Is
I've
that
always
an
advocated
option?
I've always advocated for that. We know he's not strong physically to defend. He's technically
Yeah,
smart. He's
yeah.
intelligent. But when it comes to pace, we have a problem. You're going to play a game,
I think we lost Bearden once again.
right? Yeah. Can you guys still hear me?
Hmm.
Am I back? Yeah.
Yes,
I
yes, we
just want to
can.
Yeah, we
wrap
can
up.
hear you.
Yeah,
Coming
right,
in and
right.
out. Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah, I just want to
yeah.
wrap up this Zinchenko conversation, right? Ayo, you and I have talked about these things. Zinchenko is really, really smart. Now we have two
Hmm.
players that are physically strong and can do the same thing as Zinchenko. That's Calafiori and Timber.
Timber. Yeah.
Zinchenko should start stepping into the midfield now. But I'm not the manager. I think he has to give him a chance to play in the midfield, especially all these midweek games and games like maybe against Southampton or Leicester, games like that.
Hmm.
Tottenham is they signed they already have Brennan Johnson. Then they signed Odegaard from Burnley. Those are quick
Hmm.
players. You can't play Zichenko against Tottenham. I don't think you
Yeah,
should,
definitely.
unless
Definitely.
because the
Hmm.
wings they're gonna come. Son is very quick. They have wingers that are very quick. Watch the Newcastle game. Newcastle absorbed the pressure. The pressure. So I don't know what we're planning to do. Whether we're going to try to start toe to toe with Tottenham tomorrow, or we just want to absorb the pressure because we don't have our players. I don't know. But
Hmm.
regardless, 3 points at the worst, get a point. But I agree with you, Santiago should move into the midfield.
Okay.
All
So move to
righty.
midfield, but not tomorrow. Got it.
So yeah, so it's
That's a tough one. Yeah.
so from what I'm hearing from both of you, it seems like you guys are having mixed feelings about tomorrow's game. It's like you guys are not too sure that Arsenal is going to be able to nick it, because I'm hearing things like worst case, let's get a draw, and especially this being an away game for Arsenal, it also makes it very, very tricky. So I guess you guys are fine if the game does end up with a draw and nothing but a
Yeah.
loss. But at the end of the day, I believe that the loss might not necessarily still dent your title challenge, but obviously it will only make things a little bit harder, in
I
the future.
disagree. I disagree. This is a season that I've not seen in a long time. This season is going to be completely different. Man City has never started strong like this in the last 4, 5, 6 seasons. It, it is clear to everybody. If you want to wrestle EPL from City,
You have to be
you
almost
can.
perfect.
You have to be almost perfect. This season is going to be very, very tough. A loss, people might disagree with me. I think we just lost Cincy.
No, that's
A
yeah.
loss in this game is basically going to write you off.
Yeah.
The way I see City going, it's going to be something different that we haven't seen before. So you got to be perfect. You got to be really, really, really perfect. That's how I see. I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but that's how I see it. That's why it's important for you not to even lose this game. Now remember, since we're also losing Rice. Partey has been slow for me. Sounding this alarm. You're playing against a Tottenham team. Younger. I mean, you're going to be playing against Bissouma and Sa. Bissouma and Sa in the midfield. You got to step up your game. We don't have Rice. Hopefully, Rice will be back for the City game. So you got to think about this.
Okay. So Rice is injured for this game.
No,
He's
not injured.
suspended.
Red
He got a red card.
Oh yeah, that's true. He did get a card. Yeah, I had a red card. Yeah,
got a red card. Yeah. So against Brighton, which made us drop the point. I also believe, right? So that's what I tell people. Like you think, oh, everything is going to be smooth, but things happen in the game. Nobody expected Arsenal to be a one-man down in a Brighton game. This is the Brighton with a 21-old manager that came to Emirates and took a point. I knew it was an humbling experience for Arteta. He just couldn't say it. I knew it was really disappointed because it was like, oh, wow, this guy came here and humbled me. That's a 31-year-old manager. A manager nobody gave a chance. It seemed that he sold players and he bought in new young players. They actually played very well at the Emirates.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the Premiership, Yeah.
So when you see games like this, you just have to take your point as much as you can take it. I don't know when City will lose. I don't, even if they lose in this season. I don't know. So the games that will be tough for City will be against Arsenal, will be against Liverpool. All these other teams, City will destroy them. The only advantage is because of Champions League and all these FA Cups. But they also have a bigger squad. They have a bigger squad than even Arsenal. So
they do.
They can figure that out. The manager knows how to rotate. Arteta is just learning how to rotate. You understand what I'm saying? I am seeing this as a one big.
It's maybe even a good thing because this is a game that forces him to rotate because we know he doesn't like. I said he doesn't like to rotate, so maybe this is a good thing for him to force him to rotate because he doesn't like to rotate that much.
Exactly.
So maybe this is a good thing for him to force him to play other players.
As an outsider, remember I complained about this at the beginning of season. I said, Arteta plays the same squad a little bit too much, man. He needs to start being a little bit flexible with these players. So he's still.
But there's a reason behind it. We all know the reason behind it. You don't have quality. Ayo, he tried it before. The quality drops. The moment he rotates, the quality drops and he loses. So I feel for him. I understand that he has to rotate. I'll give you an example. He bought in Fabio. That wasn't the quality he wanted. So how do you rotate with Fabio? It's either he's inconsistent or he's injured. You have Jesus that we're paying a lot of money for. It's either he's misfiring or he's injured when he's not supposed to be injured. So wrong timing. There are just very few players that are consistent for this guy to not rotate. You know what I mean? 2 seasons ago, when Saliba was out, Who did he rotate with? Rob Holding. Rob Holding has even been removed from Crystal Palace first team. I mean, do you see how bad it is? Rob Holding cannot even make Crystal Palace's first team. That is somebody we rotated Saliba with. So the quality drops when it tries to.
But I see a way out here, because for me, I see players like Trossard. When he came in, he was a bench player, right? And whenever he comes in, he gives quality, man. He gives pure quality. So I think Arteta needs to build on that and start looking for players like that. Okay, how can I build on a player like this? You know, how can I find the likes of
So I think it's been a gradual process, right? And
yeah.
I think it's a continuation of that has happened this summer, right? Where we've seen that, okay, when Smith Rowe comes in, the quality is not quite at the title challenging level that we need to be at, so they had to let him go. Same thing with players like Nketiah and Reece Nelson. Those three left this summer, and they're Arsenal boys, but for the level that we're trying to get to, they're not at that level. So I think it's just taking time to rotate and turn over the
And that is
squad. If you
also
think of where we
breaking
were 5 years
from.
ago, or when Arteta came in, there's maybe only two. I don't even think there's any player left from that time. I think Reece Nelson was the last from Arteta's
Saka
first
is
team.
probably the only boy from
Saka is
academy
the
right
only player.
now. Saka is
Yeah, he's the
probably the
only.
only.
Not even
Imagine
just the academy, just the entire team. Like you
and
think of
Arsenal
people
all
like
train.
Aubameyang and Lacazette,
Yeah,
gotcha, from back then that is
Yeah.
still around. So it's been a lot of work to like turn over the squad. You're spending millions, selling millions, letting go of players, writing off contracts. So I think it's just been a I think now, which unfortunately this is when we should be going for the title, but it's just now that we're starting to get to the kind of squad that Arteta needs. But time is running out. Time is going.
yes.
Mhm.
And City is not slowing down.
No.
That's the problem.
Yes, they are not, yeah. And which is why I said, it's almost like you can't lose this game. This is like a game like, you like losing is not even an option right now for Arsenal. So, any loss right now would almost put, I don't want to say dent to your title hopes, but it just
I
makes
think
it tougher. It makes it
it
harder.
just puts Liverpool. It just puts Liverpool ahead in terms of maybe Liverpool might be the one to
Forget about
contest.
Liverpool right now. I'm just talking about Arsenal as a team.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just being honest,
Yeah.
right? You want honesty.
Oh, yeah,
I'm just saying.
yeah. So Liverpool. I told my friend one thing. I said, listen, after I've seen Liverpool play 3 times, I was saying Arsenal was 45% to win the league. But after I saw Liverpool play, I said, man, I have to drop that percentage a bit down, a bit more. I'm still tipping Arsenal 40%. But I was like, nah, the way Liverpool is playing, yeah, they're gonna have to take some of that
That's Liverpool and
probability
City
out.
were playing against.
Yeah,
It's not
I
just
know, and I even before the start of the
even before
season,
the
we
season started.
tipped Liverpool.
Yeah.
I went to Philly. I watched Arsenal Liverpool live, and I watched them through the season because I like to follow, who are the contestants, who are the top three. So I followed them, and I knew that they were going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Cincy, do we have you?
Yeah,
All
one
right, guys.
second.
All right. Yeah, really good segment. So, Bjorn, are you going to give us a prediction for this game?
Oh man. So I thought about it. I don't want to, but I'm just gonna say something.
We're at the
Remember
Toilet Bowl Stadium.
last season, right? The first game was at the Emirates. He ended 2-2.
Right.
Rice went out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we can hear you. Yeah, you're back.
Remember first game was at the Emirates. The first game was at the Emirates. He ended 2-2. Why? Rice went out due to injury. He had a back spasm or something, right?
Yes.
And Jorginho came. And Jorginho made a terrible back pass. That's how we lost. That's how we drew first leg.
Yes.
Then second leg we were on fire because we wanted to win this, so when they would be them, which was great. Honestly, I think it might be a repeat. I think we might draw tomorrow.
Another draw.
I won't be mad. Current situation of the squad, if we draw, I'll take it. I just don't want a loss. It's going to be disappointing, and it's going to drag down. It's going to bring down the hopes. Loss is not just good, no matter what. So I think I see another draw, maybe 2-2 draw. On the upside, which I have nothing to back it up, maybe a win out of something. Because Tottenham is crazy. They might be disappointing, but when it comes to this North London derby, they just gonna do a lot of rubbish and all that. So I see them It's going to be a high pressing game. Just be ready for that. It's going to be a high pressing game because of the manager. He doesn't care whether he loses. He has said it. That's my style. That's how I want to play. It's going to come.
Mhm.
So, do we have a team to contain that pressure and push them back? We'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
to draw. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Ayo.
Yeah. So my prediction. So there will be goals. We've managed to come away with clean sheets from the first two games. I think the third one was unlucky because we were playing a man down. I think I'm not as worried that it's in midfield that we're a bit lacking in this game because we know Tottenham bypassed the midfield anyway. It's going to be a lot of back to you know back and forth when you're playing against Tottenham. So it's if we were missing like someone like Ben White or Saliba or Timber, I would maybe be a bit more worried that this is trending towards a loss. Or if we were missing Kai Havertz or Saka, right? So I think the key players where the game is likely to be played in defense and offense are mostly there. Now, the danger will be, like you said, Partey is getting slow in transitions. Can we make sure that we don't get beaten on the transitions and concede silly goals? Um, I would maybe sneak a win for us. I would say maybe a 2-1 win. So that would go. And
I just
just
don't know how.
live update from the Manchester United game. Man, you have just conceded a penalty.
Oh wow.
Southampton is about to have a penalty.
Cincy, are you still with us?
I don't know if we have Cincy. But they've just considered a
Are you,
penalty.
are you
Diogo
trying to talk,
Dalot with a foul.
Cincy, are you trying to talk the referee down to not allow the penalty?
I
Anyway,
think you
let's
saw what
wrap.
happened. I went offline.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. All right. Wrap us up.
Awesome. All right. Well, if you've managed to stay with us to the end, thank you for staying with us with the conversation. Please, we want to see your comments. Leave your comments in there. Let's join in the conversation offline, and we'll see how it goes with this week. How are you feeling, Sissy? The penalty is about to
well,
be taken.
what just happened, man? I told you guys that with this guy, you just never know, man. I was telling you guys, you just never know with these guys, man. Like, I mean, they are just unbelievable. But okay,
Yeah,
it's all good, Sha. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised
I mean,
at all.
it looked like that tackle was outside of the box. I can't really see,
It
but
was right on the line. It was on the line, and then
Yeah.
continued.
Yeah,
So
I
the
was,
line
I
is
was,
part
I
of the
was,
box.
it was so funny. I was just checking it out now. I was like, oh my, what? I was like, what? United, it's okay.
it's still a long game.
Yeah, so
it's still early in the game, so that's the good news. This is not the 81st minutes, 32nd minute,
well,
so there's still time to come back. And we did say 3-1, so maybe Man United will have to come back. As
yeah,
you
we
you said
Southampton
3-1.
scored this
Your
penalty.
three goals are still there. The guys that bet on your prediction, they probably.
But it seems like United is not really the main focus right now. The main focus is the game of the weekend: Spurs against Arsenal.
Try to shift the
And you guys
conversation.
heard from
Try to
these two
shift the
fans,
conversation.
Ayo and Biodu, their emotions are mixed. Tomorrow is do or die. It's like if they lose tomorrow, it means that their title contention is at serious jeopardy. So let's see what happens
They missed.
tomorrow. Let's see
What
if
just
Arsenal
happened?
is going to turn up. Let's see what
What just
happens
happened?
what happened.
Did I
They
miss?
scored.
They missed. Onana
What
saved
just
the
happened?
penalty.
Yeah, you see, the gods are with us with United today, man. So let's see what happens tomorrow, man. This has been a wonderful session going over the game with Spurs.
Man, you player of the season.
Man, you what?
Man, you player.
Onana.
Man, you player of the season. Andre Onana.
Onana. Wait, did he actually save it or he missed it?
He saved it. He saved the penalty.
Oh wow, interesting. He said he was going to take a lot of risk, though. He said he was going to be taking a lot of risk.
Yeah. Don't worry.
All right, man. Nice one, guys. That was good.
All right. Wonderful. Thanks, yeah.